Hey, what's up, guys? I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. And I want to say good morning. Today is Sunday, July 14th, and you may be watching the recording later, but either way, I think there's some stuff that you can learn today. As you guys know, on drboycetv.com, this is the home for intelligent Black people. So if you're Black and intelligent, this is the place for you. If you're not intelligent or don't want to be intelligent, you probably won't benefit very much from this platform. So just know that I never ask anybody to be on the platform if they don't want to be. I'd rather you be here because this works for you. Most people that come in is because we give them something a little bit different, something a little bit different from mainstream, giving them something that's going to challenge their thinking and help them grow. And that's our goal. That's our job. And so I want to say hello to Michelle, Yana, Prawl Season, Kaladen, Skybreaker, just Rhonda. Hello, Larry Hurt. What's going on? Perry Rocket, Emma Lawson, Noema. Shout out your city. Also, please shout out your city. I always like to see what cities you're coming from, and I'm always curious of who's coming in from different places, and also international as well. You guys know I just came back into the country. I had a great time with Black London. What's up, Black London? Let me see. It's about 6 p.m., 6:15 p.m. in London. So some of y'all are probably getting home from the plantation and or maybe home from your businesses. Let's see. Doretha says, I'm a huge fan. I'm such a huge fan. Wow, I appreciate that very much. Thank you. I'm humbled by that. I see Memphis and Detroit and Clarksville, Indiana. That's right. Or Clarksville, Tennessee. Sorry, Tennessee. Well, Tennessee and Indiana, both close to where I grew up in Louisville, Kentucky. What's up, Brand? How are you? Brand out in LA. I might actually have to go to LA. We just had a death in the family, a couple of deaths in the family, a real tragedy. So I might be flying out there earlier than I thought. But you guys also know we're doing an investment seminar in Los Angeles in conjunction with Dr. Claude Anderson's National or Harvest Day Festival, Harvest Festival Day. Sorry, I got it wrong. That's going to be around August the 11th. So you can look at drboycelosangeles.com. And of course, you guys know I'll be in Chicago on July 28th. You can go to drboycechicago.com if you want to check that out. Okay, I see. Let's see, Baltimore, Minnesota, Holy Hill, South Carolina, New Jersey, Richmond, Virginia, St. Louis. Let's see, Ohio, Baton Rouge. Oh, Baton Rouge. Did y'all hear about the activist in Baton Rouge that they just found her in the trunk of a car? Did y'all hear about that? I've got the sister's name, but yeah, they just found this. She had created an African American history museum, and they literally just found her body in the trunk of a car. And so I'm gonna keep following that just to see what's going on with that. I really hope it's not sort of the worst of our fears that one of her own people took her out. Or maybe it was the police, maybe it was somebody that just didn't want her to do what she was doing. I don't know, but she was 75 years old, and I can't imagine what a 75-year-old woman could be doing to people to cause them to want to do something so terrible to her. So, RIP, Ashe, everything else for her and her family, and I'm so sorry to hear about this. Hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the share button, subscribe button. If you're on Facebook, please share it real quick to your Facebook page. That helps us to work the algorithm because you guys know Facebook has it out for Black people that are too radical. You guys have heard me talk about the censorship on Facebook. So two things we did is one, we created our own social media platform called blagenough.com. Black enough, it's our own word. We invented this word. It's a play on the word black enough. So if you're Black enough, join us at Black enough. You can stay on Facebook, but you can also join Black enough for free. And that's somebody type in blagenough.com so other people can know how to spell it. Because I knew we got some members in here. So just type in blagenough.com so other people can see it. The other thing is if you're sharing and commenting and stuff like that, that'll help fight against the deboosting algorithm that Facebook uses. What Facebook does, I found this out, is they will deboost your posts. So for example, my personal page, you guys know I have about 80-something thousand people that follow my personal page. Well, a lot of times when I go live, they'll only alert maybe 800 people or 500 people. So if you guys are sharing it to your pages and being very active, it actually pushes and leads to more people coming in. So if you could help us with that, we'd appreciate that very much. All right, so anyway, let me keep going. And I'd say hi to Rodney Vinegar. I went to college with Rodney. Rodney was one of the other few brothers on campus who at the University of Kentucky back then who actually made straight A's like me. That was one thing we had in common. Unfortunately, a lot of the Black kids on our campus weren't really into like studying really hard and all this other stuff. I don't know why. I think that white supremacy really did a number on us and really got us to not care about education. So I didn't have a lot of friends because I didn't have a lot of friends that wanted to go to the library at 10 o'clock on a Saturday night and study all night long. I didn't have a lot of friends that understood why you should study 5, 6 hours a day instead of, 1 or 2 hours a day. I didn't have a lot of friends that could really see a 20-year vision in their life. Most people can only see, Saturday night or what they were going to do, at the club or at the next party or whatever. And so Rodney was one of those guys that stood out. Him, and there's a couple other people I knew who really, really just kind of have figured it out, and I actually respected him for that. I still do. So anyway, let me let me jump in and talk about this. All right, so I had a teachable moment kind of happen recently that I thought I would share with you guys, and it involved this really kind of mean message I got from a lady. Now you guys know I get mean messages all the time. Most of the time, it doesn't bother me, and this one didn't bother me either, because I believe people have the right to say what they're going to say. And I just want to tell you guys, just straight up, point blank, period. If you ever want to accomplish anything, you're probably, if you're successful, you're going to have some people that are going to challenge you, and then you're going to have some people that are just downright nasty, just want to see you go down, just want to see you bloody, burn, and everything else. That doesn't bother me so much for a couple of reasons. One, because I have complete faith in the fact that what I'm doing is the right thing, right? I don't lose sleep wondering if I'm being ethical enough, or if my ideas are going to work. I have a lot of confidence in that. So that's not an issue. Two, I'm very consistent. When I was getting my PhD, I'm not kidding. And getting a PhD in finance is really hard. I mean, I was in class with some of the smartest people on the planet. No kidding. One of my former students, not my classmate, one of my former students actually got the highest math score in all of Shanghai, which Shanghai is a gigantic city with millions and millions of people. And she was in the top 10 in all of China, which has over 1 billion people. And, so these are the kinds of people you're around. And when you're around people like that who are insanely smart, who work extremely hard, you raise your game up. It was like a different space. It wasn't like laziness anymore. It was more like you go as hard as you can. Like I had Russian classmates who would memorize the entire math book. Like if we had a math test, they would literally be like, oh, on page 124, paragraph 2, it says this, so you have to deal with people like that. So when you work around people like that, you get a level of intensity that is absolutely insane. So if you guys ever want to know like why I'm very consistent, why I stay on it, it's because that's what I picked up in my PhD program. It was torture at the time, but it benefits me a lot now. In fact, back then they used to actually call me, one of the white boys jokingly said, years later, he said, yeah, we used to call you the machine because it seemed like every day you just got up and did the same thing every day. I said, yeah, it's because I was a black man trying to survive, and I didn't want y'all to kick me in my ass, so I was going to go hard. So anyway, so that's the second thing. I have a lot of confidence that I'm doing the right thing. I have a lot of confidence that in my work ethic. If you're consistent, then it's hard for a hater to slow you down. If your light is always shining, they cannot. It's difficult for them to put it out. They might put it out temporarily, but you're going to spark right back up and keep it going. So, so always remember that when you move forward. Three, I have a lot of confidence in my training. I know finance at the highest levels. I've been teaching for 20 something years. So it's not like you can come and tell me that I'm stupid or wrong or something. I'm not going to believe you. I'm just going to say, well, maybe I was wrong about it, but let me figure out how I can be better at it. But I'm not going to say, oh my God, everything I'm teaching is just backward or whatever. So anyway, the point is, and then the other thing too is that being in the public eye gives you tough skin. I've been in the public eye probably since I was about 25. When I was at University of Kentucky, I used to write these newspaper articles about racism and stuff. And I was on a racist campus. The campus is still pretty racist, but it was even more racist back then. And I would get these death threats and white people trying to discredit me and attacking me. And that was really tough back then because I wasn't used to it. But by the time I got in my 30s and 40s, it was easy. It's like, oh yeah, that's the way it is. And what I learned from that is you can't get caught up in what people think about you. You just can't. Whether they love you or hate you, you cannot get too caught up in that because those things can change in a minute. Somebody might love you one day because you're saying what they want to hear, and then they might hate you the next day because you say something they don't want to hear, right? And so you can't get too caught up in that. What you got to focus on is how you feel about yourself. If you feel good about you and that's consistent, then that's it. So the only love I really needed in my life was love from myself, love from God, love from my mama, and maybe if I'm lucky, love from my woman, right? That was it. Like everything else is kind of like, yeah, like, so you can go out, you give a speech, you get a standing ovation from 1,000 people. It's like, oh, that's nice, but it doesn't drill into your ego that much because you know that you got a job to do and you can't sit around feeling yourself all day. So anyway, But I thought this was an interesting teachable moment because I got this really nasty message. You guys know, I've been talking a lot about our financial workbooks for children and what we created. It took us a long time to create these, so I'm really proud of these. And basically, I was mentioning the financial workbooks and saying, hey, they're on sale right now. If you want to get a discount and you want to educate your kids about economics and stuff like that, check them out, right? So I got a message, and this is one of many kind of nasty messages kind of pop through. And this lady, I don't know who she is. It says Vanessa, the Urban Tarot Goddess. Don't know what that means exactly, but okay. She says you have to show proof if you push in a program. Like, has anyone went through his programs? I never heard of anyone, right? So she's basically saying that that I have to show proof if I'm pushing a program, which we do. We have a lot of proof. We have a ton of testimonials. But also she asks, has anybody gone through his programs? I've never seen anybody go through his programs. Now, it's not a completely hostile question, but it is one of those like, oh, Negro, you out here scamming black people. You out here robbing black people. Like you have to show proof. You can't just be out here saying stuff. And that's fine. I think it's fine to ask questions. I think that the one thing that I will give a little exception to is that it seems to me that when it comes to black businesses and black men especially, we're quick to pull that scammer trigger. We're quick to pull that whole trigger of oh, you're robbing people, or oh, you're stealing black people's money, and we become like these detectives. We become like CSI investigators on black businesses. Like, oh, well, you charge $21 for that book, and that book really should have been called, you should have charged $19.95, and so you're a thief, nigga, you're a robber, and it's kind of interesting because you don't see that same level of scrutiny when it comes to the $1 trillion a year that we spend with white businesses. Black people spend a lot more money with white businesses than we have ever spent with black businesses. You can add up all the money black people have spent with black businesses over the last 20 years, and it wouldn't add up to the amount of money we spend with white businesses in 1 year. I'd be willing to bet you, think about this, black people have about 1.3 trillion a year in spending capacity. I'm not gonna call it spending power because there's no power in spending, but I bet you that if you were to add up all the money black people have spent with black owned businesses in the last 20 years, it would not add up to $1 trillion. I bet you anything. And so that's kind of one thing I would take exception to. But at the same time, though, when you run a business, people ask questions, even if they're hostile. One principle of business, this is a teachable moment. The customer is always right, and you want to try your best to appease that and respond to that. Well, I was going to respond, but actually, before I got a chance to respond, fortunately, we had a customer jump in, and she said something. She said, my daughter and I have gone through the Millionaires of Tomorrow program, which is our Black Millionaires of Tomorrow program. She says, I bought it for her during 7th grade and gave her $500 to start in the investment class. She now has $4,340 as a 14-year-old. Now, that's massive growth. I mean, most people's investments didn't grow that much. I'd like to know what she invested in, because that's a pretty gigantic leap. But I was glad she jumped in and made that comment, because we've got lots of parents that feel that way. In fact, if you're in that category, I hope that I'm really asking you guys, if you have experienced something from us, if you've learned something from us and it's benefited your life or it's changed your life, I really hope you will tell your story. I hope you'll feel obligated to tell your story far and wide, because what we're trying to really get people to do is to give black people a try. Like, just give us a try, right? And so they don't believe that we're going to be great just because we're black. Like that, I'm not asking you for that, right? I'm just asking, we have experts, in the Black Business School, and all we focus on are black people. That's all we focus on. We don't focus on anybody else, any other problems, right? We focus on the black community, period. People like Danielle Pierce at economicelevation.com, she focuses on a lot of people, but she's a black woman, and Danielle, I'm sure you deal with that, right? Where people will be extra diligent with you in a way where they may not be diligent with other people. Like, for example, this fall, we're about to have tens of thousands, if not over 100,000, I'm not sure how many, black parents that are going to commit over $100,000 to $200,000 of their family income to sending their children to white universities, right? And they're not going to be in there, they may ask some questions, but they're not going to be asking accusatory questions like, why y'all scamming people? And what y'all in there doing? Blah, 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 blah. And here's what's going to happen, though, which based on statistics, this is just, fact. This is data, there's data to support this. half of all of the young people about to start college this year, half of all the Black students starting college this year, first of all, half of them are not going to ever get a degree. That's the first thing. Right. So half of them are going to spend, maybe they're going to give up $80,000, $100,000, a lot of money, a lot of money. I don't know if any of you have $100,000 in your bank account right now, but if you do, you probably wouldn't want to give it away for something where you got nothing back, right? So half of them are never going to get a degree. Out of the other half that get the degree, half of that group are going to default on their student loans, which means bad credit, which means financial slavery, which means possibly dying in debt. So even the successful ones, even half of the successful ones are going to become economic failures to some extent, not complete failures. I'm not saying that you're a complete failure if you default, but they're not going to get the result that they're looking for, right? And so I would almost say that if you're comparing a monumental task like that, like you're about to commit $200,000 to a white university or university run by your oppressors, that is going to, most likely leave you without a degree or in debt. Like the majority of all these Black college freshmen are either going to be without a degree or defaulting on their loans, one or the other, of the majority, right? And you compare that $200,000 commitment to something like the Black Business School, where we have stuff where, like our bundle pack for kids, with our financial workbooks is like $99, right? And I know, because I have a PhD, I designed this to be done in such a way that if your kid follows the process, they're gonna be impacted for the next 50, 60 years. A lot of what I gained in, when it comes to finances came from my grandmother, who never had a college degree. She never made more than $20,000 a year. But she taught me what she knew. She taught me very basic things, nothing she'd ever learned in a textbook. I'm teaching you things that these are theories that are put together by a person who's qualified to write textbooks. I don't read textbooks and recite them. I have the ability to write a textbook. I have the ability to construct a theory. When I wrote my dissertation at Ohio State University, I couldn't just regurgitate something that someone else had come up with. The requirement for a PhD is that you do original research, which means nobody in the history of all finance has ever have been able to come up with that theory before. So you're getting another level of Black excellence when you're learning from someone with a legit PhD. I'm not talking about, like those PhDs people get on the internet, stuff like that. No, I'm talking about the one that took me many, 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 many years to get full time. Now, I wasn't working, it wasn't like a part-time kind of thing, none of that. So my point is to say that, to this woman, I don't even know what her intentions are. Some people criticize you because they legitimately want to overcome their personal objections so they can be a part of what you're doing, or so they can gain the trust necessary to move forward, or so they can help you become better. That's fine. Then you have some people that just criticize because they just want to be nasty or whatever, right? People like that, you don't know what to do. No disrespect. I just say, go do something else. That's fine. But for those that legitimately want to help, make things better and want to overcome their doubts so they can trust again, my response on that is just give it a try. You've given white supremacy a try. You tried it every month. You give the majority of your income to white supremacist institutions to give that a try. Why not give the Black Business School a try? It's not a huge financial risk. The amount of money that it costs to enroll your family or yourself in some of these programs is less than the cost of, that you might have spent going to see the Black Panther or whatever it is that you want to do. Also, we have things like free trials where people can try things out to see if they like it. We have a freemium option where you can join for free. You can join the Black Business School for nothing and then upgrade later if you like what you see. Also, we have, and this is really important, we have a 30-day, 100% money back guarantee. That means that if you have any issue whatsoever, no questions asked, we will give you your money back. If you're not happy, we give you money back, because we don't want unhappy students in the Black Business School. We don't want people to come through and feel like, oh, those Negroes, they took my money, they robbed me. No. We want you to see whatever you allocate financially, we want you to see it as an investment that bettered your life, not as an expense that drained you, because everybody else wants to drain you. We want to fill you up. We want to elevate you, right? So why? So by the way, if you're interested, if you want to look at this stuff, by the way, the stuff for the kids, you can go to financialworkbooks.com. Some of you are asking for the URL. It's financialworkbooks.com. And actually, this weekend, it's on sale for half off. So you can actually go there, and the bundle packs have been deeply discounted. And basically, it includes a lot of really cool stuff that we created specifically for Black kids. It took us a long time to put this together. It was really crazy. We spent tens of thousands of dollars working with one company to help us get this done. And they did not do a job that we thought was adequate. So literally after a year and spending like lots and lots of money, we literally said, okay, let's tear it down. Let's rebuild it again, because we want our people to get top quality stuff. So you can see here, we have every grade band covered. We have first through third grade, fourth and fifth grade. It covers stocks, money, and investing for every grade. We have the middle school package, high school wealth builders package. Now for the high school kids and the middle school kids, we give them more because they're at a more sophisticated level. They have a greater ability to learn higher level concepts. So what I did was I threw in some digital lectures, like for the high school kids, like how to build your own family bank, the secrets to thinking like a millionaire, how to be a millionaire by retirement, the 7 golden rules of love and money, so that they can understand how money links to their relationships. There's just so many really cool, innovative things that we were able to come up with for Black folks that are so different from what you learn in college. In fact, I love this so much that I'm willing to stand here and say to you that as a person who taught on college campuses for 25 years, this is 100 times better than what you learn on a college campus. The reason it's better is because number one, it's low cost, so you won't go deep in debt. Number two, it's culturally relevant. We designed this specifically to solve problems for our community. This is not designed, maybe white kids may not get the same thing that a young Black person or a Black adult might get from learning from us. And then three, it's designed to teach you sort of the core fundamental stuff that you're going to need in order to be successful in this world. A lot of universities charge you lots of money and lots of time to learn a lot of things that don't benefit you. And what I figured out from teaching on a lot of college campuses is that a lot of Black students are in college for one thing. Well, why do you think most Black people go to college? Why do you think that most Black people commit, to $40,000, $50,000 a year to go to college, or $30,000, whatever it costs? Why do you think? Give me a reason. Okay, no, somebody says number 4, invest in self. Talk up, well done. Let me see. Why do you think most Black people go to college? Okay, Kara says to get a job. Larry Hurt says a job. Yep, to have a better life. Why? To make money, to have a better life, to get a higher paying job. Exactly. Most Black people, and I see Dwayne says for knowledge. You don't have to go to college and spend a bunch of money to get knowledge. There's knowledge on the internet. There's knowledge. You can listen to my podcast and learn 100 times more than you learn on a college campus. Those white professors, honestly, they're not bad people. They just don't understand the Black experience the way people like I do, or the way somebody like a Louis Farrakhan does. They just don't. I went through that. I went to college, then I went to get a master's, and then I got another master's. I completed the requirements for 3 to 4 master's degrees. I got a triple bachelor's degree. I got 2 degrees in 4 years, but it was a triple major. So I was 6 hours away from having 3 bachelor's degrees in 4 years. And then I went on and got a PhD. I was all up in school, took a ton of classes on everything under the sun. And I did not feel that I really started getting real knowledge until I started listening to people outside of that space. When I would listen to Louis Farrakhan, that gave me something that I'd never seen before. When I started reading books like Powernomics and Black Labor, White Wealth, and really learning my history, the history that they never taught me on that college campus, I felt that I'd moved forward light years as opposed to being an undergrad. I remember sitting in a class where literally we were studying Irish peasants. Why the hell do I care as a Black man about how Irish peasants lived 250 years ago? It doesn't mean it doesn't matter, but I'm wondering, are Irish people studying Black history like that? I just didn't get it. I was like, this does not matter to me, especially if I have not even learned my own history. Think about this. I'm learning somebody else's history before I learn my own. And so, and then I remember being introduced to public intellectuals. Like the first one I ever saw was Michael Eric Dyson. The next one that I remember a young lady on my couch in my apartment saying, "Have you ever heard of Julianne Malveaux?" Julianne's my friend now. We talked the other day. I remember the first time I saw Cornel West. I went to go see him at University of Chicago. Cornel and I are friends now, and this is when I started feeling exposed to real knowledge that related to me. The other stuff didn't relate to me. And so what I think that we need as a community is we need to go back to the basics. I think that one of the things we believe in is what is called the Black Core of Three. And the Black Core of Three is that we believe Black people should educate our own children, create our own jobs, and support Black businesses. We believe that we should be the educators of our kids, because other people are miseducating our kids. So either you're uneducated or you're severely miseducated. Either way, you're not an asset to the community. An uneducated person can't be effective. A miseducated person is like somebody with a gun who points the gun at your mother, right? So they're powerful, but all their energy is being pointed in the wrong direction. So it's almost more damaging sometimes for a person to have a lot of formal education than it is for them to have no education at all. At least an uneducated person is a clean slate. You can lift them up in Blackness, whereas a miseducated person is a person who is educated on all the wrong things, has the wrong ideas, and also isn't interested in learning new information because they think they know everything, right? So we have a lot of miseducated Black people out here, and my job, my goal is to help change that. So I would say thank you, Rita, for your support. I appreciate it. And by the way, some of you are asking the URL for the kids stuff. It's financialworkbooks.com. That's financialworkbooks.com. Again, the discount lasts for one more day. It ends tonight at midnight if you're watching on July 14th. If you're watching after July 14th, you can still go back and take a look at it if you want to, but the special only lasts for today. And there's also a 30-day 100% money back guarantee if you're not happy for any reason. Also, if you have any challenges, any questions, any issues at all, we have a great customer support team. That's another thing that we do to deal with a lot of the criticism that may or may not be fair, is we invested heavily in putting together a really great customer service team. So they're sitting there waiting to respond to your questions. So if you have an issue, a challenge, whatever it is, like, they literally are right there waiting for you. So if anybody has had an experience learning from me or from the people that ride with me in the Black Business School, or your children have had an experience, if you could take a second and write in something and say, I took a class from you, I loved it. I read your book, I liked it. My kids learned from you, they loved it. Just say something so that other people can see it, because I really want the community to at least gain enough trust to try. You don't have to love it. You don't have, it's okay. I'm not going to sit here and say we're perfect. And that's the other thing too. A lot of your Black businesses out here are not perfect. A lot of your Black businesses out here are being run by first-generation entrepreneurs, first-generation investors. They are people trying to break the cycle. They're trying to break cycles of poverty. They're trying to break cycles of economic slavery. They're trying to break cycles of the over-employee lifestyle, right? And so when you're breaking the cycle, you're gonna do things wrong sometimes. You're gonna make a mistake. Right. And what I encourage you guys to do, those who really love the community, those who really want to see people do better, there's some trolls out here, but the trolls don't really matter. I would hope that you would understand the goal of your critique. If you have a critique for Black business, try to provide the critique in a way that's going to help the business get better, even if you're never going to come back. So even with us, we love to hear back from people who can say, okay, it would have been better if you'd done this, or you should offer this, or you should change that, or you should do this a little bit better. That stuff, that feedback helps us to do better, because we actually want to do, one of the things we want to do is similar to what Jeff Bezos did when he built Amazon. Jeff Bezos was obsessed with the customer. He was obsessed with making the customer happy. We're obsessed with that. We are absolutely obsessed with our students having an experience where they can walk away and say, I spent $100 with the Black Business School, and I learned more with $100 or $300 or $1,000, whatever the number is. I learned more with a few $100s in the Black Business School than I learned spending $100,000 at my university. That's the best critique I love to hear. And I bet you that there are people in this chat right now who have that experience. Tell me if you're one of those people. Just, and everybody who's not sure, just look at the comments. If you're one of those people where you can say that you've learned more from me and from us than you learned in college, just say something. Just say it right here in the chat so other people can see it and other people can hear it. Now, I see somebody who's asking, how do you get enrolled? Well, there's a couple of things. You know, I told you guys about the financial workbooks that we created for the kids. You can go check that out at financialworkbooks.com. I see Dual Victory and others in here. If you could keep typing the URL in so other people can see it. We have financialflashcards.com where the flashcards are located. Why did we create flashcards and workbooks? Well, because this is what I do with the kids in my house. The workbooks sort of make it simple and easy. And we actually have parents and adults who use the workbooks as well. These aren't just for kids. I mean, the thing is that, it's not that hard to elevate economic literacy in the Black community because, they just don't teach it anywhere. They don't teach it in public schools. They don't teach it in colleges, but it's so important. So it's a very easy kind of thing to address. It's like, oh my gosh, like this is the answer to many of our problems and nobody's teaching it. And I can teach very basic things that would literally have a huge impact on somebody's life. That's where we get in trouble. We don't even know the basics, right? So, okay, so I see a lot of people saying me and yes. So thank you, by the way, for you guys who are making the comment, because I just want other people to know, and so if you could help us with that, we really ask you not just to be a happy student or a happy customer, if you will. We'd love for you to be an evangelist. We would love it if you could just talk about your experience and tell other people to just give it a try. If you go to theblackbusinessschool.com, that's where the school is, theblackbusinessschool.com. We're trying to turn this into a university that exists for the next 400 or 500 years. We want this to be the Harvard for Black people. We want this to be something that we own, that's built for us, by us, to solve our problems, which is a think tank, an institute that is solely dedicated to one purpose, which is to elevate the economic condition of Black people around the world. And it's very important, especially for you African Americans. I know a lot of us, we African Americans, we become very self-absorbed. We think about what's happening in America. We forget about all the Black people around the world who have our backs. And I can just tell you that there are millions of Black people, a billion Black people or more around the globe who want to do business with you. They want to connect with you. They want to support you. They want you to support them. They want you to connect, and we have to connect the same way the Jewish community connects to their power base in Israel, the same way that the Asian community connects to their power base in China, the same way the Arab community connects to their power base in the Middle East, the Latino community connects to their power base in Latin America. Black people have to reconnect to our power base in the continent of Africa and in the diaspora and doing business around the globe. And so one of the things we're actually going to do in the Black Business School in the next couple of years is we're actually going to integrate. We're partnering really heavily with George Fraser at FraserNet. And I went to the conference. It was excellent. I met a lot of great people like Wendy Muhammad, and we met a billionaire. Gosh, why is that brother's name not in my head? Because he is a brother. Then they own a bunch of hotels, and they're billionaires. Mike Roberts, that was his name, a really good guy. And basically the goal is to partner extensively, with Black people that are doing great things. I had a meeting yesterday with a brother who created an app, a credit score app. He's an NYU graduate who has inside connections with TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, and he actually wants this app to be heavily used throughout the Black community. So he and I had a meeting for 30 minutes yesterday. There's so many Black people doing so many amazing things that I think that we have a huge opportunity as Black people to make some billion, trillion-dollar moves. They're in this generation, they can be multi-million-dollar moves. The next generation, they become billion-dollar moves. The generation after that, they become trillion-dollar moves, maybe even sooner. So what's going to happen is that in the next, generation, there's going to be some kid who's going to be born, who's going to have the genius of Jeff Bezos, the richest man on earth, or Mark Zuckerberg. In fact, it's not just going to be one, it's probably going to be a million of them. And what we have to do now is plant the seeds so that when those children are born, they have a nest made of gold, meaning they have fertile economic soil where we can plant seeds, we can feed into them, we can feed them resources. We can feed them inspiration and intelligence. We can feed them insight into who they are as Black people. We can also feed them opportunity so that they have the ability to prosper and grow. Because what's happening now is your Black Jeff Bezoses, your Black Mark Zuckerbergs are being suppressed by the oppression of white supremacy or limited economic thinking, limited economic training. So you have children out here who are smart enough to have created the first Facebook or the second Facebook, but they never got a chance to get around to that or to reach that level of thinking because he's out hustling dope. He's doing what Jay Morrison did, as brilliant as Jay is, right? But Jay was using his brilliance to slang on the corner at one time because he didn't really have the opportunity or the know-how to get into the space that he really belonged. Jay, I think, is an anomaly in the sense that he eventually found himself. Millions of young Black men and women never find themselves. They never find, they remain Malcolm Little until the grave. They never realized that they were meant to be a Malcolm X. So what I'm encouraging you to do is hear what we're saying here, right? A lot of you are here because you have some understanding of this, you have some agreement with this, you want to know more about this, and I'm just here to tell you that I thought about this obsessively. I've done the calculations, I've really sort of processed this, and when I get a little bit weird, sometimes because I think on a different space and a different sphere, I'm going to say things that sound a little bit weird. Like, for example, a lot of people got really mad at me when I basically said that I felt that the Black wealth gap was an illusion. They thought that I was saying that it doesn't exist. I never said the racial wealth gap didn't exist. I said that it was an illusion. And if you look up the definition of an illusion, the biggest part of that definition isn't just something that's not there. Actually, it's something that distracts you from what you really should be focusing on, right? So ultimately, maybe illusion shouldn't have been the word I used. Maybe a distraction would have been a better word. But at the end of the day, the point that I was making with that is that, Black people are very wealthy, actually. We actually, compared to the rest of the world, we are doing extremely well. When you go to other countries and you talk to Black people, about African Americans, one thing that they believe is that, God, you guys have so much to work with, but because your minds are so flattened, you're convinced that you're poor. You're convinced that you don't have anything. So ultimately, I would say at the end of the day, we as Black people have to really sort of figure out how we're going to really believe, figure out who we are and move forward with that. Okay. So anyway, let me see. I see Teresa says, promote your product, not yourself. Your products look strong. I am not here to promote myself. My haters do that for me. Marcia Purcell. Okay. I don't know what that, Maria Purcell. I don't know who that is. Thank you. Lechi's still alive. I appreciate your support. Let me see. I'm looking for any questions you guys have. If you want to go take a look again at the kids stuff, the financial workbooks, stuff like that, you can go to financialworkbooks.com. That's financialworkbooks.com. If you want to check out our digital program for kids, you can go to blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. That's blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. What we recommend for any parent that wants to create a Black business school in their house for their children, and this is what I believe, you're the best educator for your kids. That's another fundamental belief that we have, is that the Black parent is a better educator for Black children than a white institution. That's just what I believe. Doesn't mean that they can't teach you something. It just means that you're a better educator because your education is infused with love, and there's a trust there, a legitimate trust that comes from the fact that your children know that you want what's best for them, and your children also understand that you know what's best for them. And so what we do is we don't try to go to the institutions. Like I've heard a lot of people say, well, your program's so great, why don't you get into the public schools? Well, because I don't see public schools the way they're structured, wanting to really get behind a program that is so unapologetically Black. I don't see how that's going to work, because you got white kids in the schools, you got Latino kids in the schools, you got people in the schools that are going to think that that's racist, right? So I don't even ask the public schools to implement our programs. There are some school systems I will attend and go to and speak at. Like I went to speak at the Muhammad University of Islam with the Nation of Islam, which is actually one of the best educational institutions I've ever seen. I mean, these young people were asking questions that graduate students ask. I'm talking about 14-year-old young women asking me questions where I was getting excited, like, oh my God, I can't believe she's a kid and she asked me that question. I was so excited. The young men were just so ready. They just so got it. And I spoke at the Nation of Islam because they get me. They understand me. I don't have to explain anything to them because they get it, right? Because they have a certain code. They have a certain way of viewing the world. They are builders. They're not. You'll never see. You'll never see a group of men or women from the Nation of Islam sitting on the street saying, "Gosh, there ain't no grocery stores around here. I wish somebody would come and build a grocery store." They don't do that. The Nation of Islam will say, "Well, how are we going to invest and build our own grocery store?" That's what they do. They'll say, "Let's go raise some capital and build a grocery store." Like that, they understand that. So ultimately, our goal is not to get our programs into the public schools because we can't water them down, because Black people need knowledge, straight, no chaser. We need truth that is not that does not come with some sort of apology or some sort of distraction or some sort of condition that makes it acceptable for everybody else. They need the truth as it is. They need the raw truth. They need to understand specifically how to play chess and not checkers. They need to understand specifically how to survive and succeed as a Black man in America. They need to know exactly what's up against the Black woman in America. So I like the fact that we're able to be independent, but independence freedom is not for children. Freedom is for grown folks. What I mean by that is, you can't claim freedom and be dependent on the system that you're trying to free yourself from at the same time. And like I can't say, "Oh, we're going to say what we want to do and do what we want," and then go and I'm begging the government for grants and asking white corporations to fund me and white school systems to back me. It would be nice if we could partner, because those kids need us. Those poor kids are it's like they're locked up in a penitentiary. They're literally, in fact, they run a lot of our schools like prisons. Has anybody ever seen that? Where in a lot of the schools, they actually have the metal detectors, the security guards. They run the schools just like prisons. They probably even use the same damn little trays that the inmates use when they go to lunch. So the kids need us, but I don't know how to get through the gatekeepers. When we did talk to the gatekeepers many years ago, they weren't interested in any of the stuff that we were doing because they thought it was radical and racist and crazy. So our strategy from the jump was very basic. I said, with the internet, my friend Lamar Tyler from Black and Married with Kids made this point, and I love it. He said, there are no more gatekeepers. The gatekeepers are gone. You just have to be creative enough to figure out who the actual real gatekeeper really is and connect to that person. How do I go above the pay grade of the white social worker or the white school administrator and get to the person who's making the decision? How do I go over their head and get to the real executive in the life of that child and help that person understand the mission and why it matters? And what I realized is that the real executive, the real leader, the real chief of that process is the mother and the father. It's the parents. The mother is the first teacher of the child. The mother is the most impactful teacher of the child. The mother is the most relevant teacher that a child will ever have. Tell me if you're in that category of people where there's nobody on earth that can replace your mama, and your mama is the most significant human being that you've ever met. Tell me that. I know it's true in my life. I mean, my father was important. My biological father, not so much. Don't know the guy, but my stepfather, who he might as well be my biological father. He's very important too. But the mother is the original teacher. So I said, we don't need to talk to the school administrators. We need to talk to the moms. And we need to do two things. One, we empower the moms with knowledge, right? First, we help them understand why this stuff is important, why wealth building is important, why economic literacy is important, why economic intelligence links to freedom, why entrepreneurship matters for their Black son so that he's in a space where he's not going to go crazy trying to serve a white man on a job every day, right? So help the mother understand why these things matter, and then give her the tools to be able to teach her children at that point, right? So you help her understand why it's important, because people have to know the why. If they don't know the why, they're not going to do the what. So like, I don't want somebody to say, I'm doing this because Dr. Boyce said it was important. No, don't do it because I said it's important. Do it because you said it was important. Do it because you internally, without my interference whatsoever, without hearing a word from me, understand why this matters for your kids, why this is probably the most important thing that you could ever teach your children. The same way my grandmother knew that teaching me about how to manage my money at the age of 5 was important. Like you need to understand this. Now, what I can do is provide you with some information, maybe some confidence, maybe some perspective that will guide you, that will help you. And I'm honored when you allow me to be that guide. That's a privilege for me, and I never will take that for granted. But at the end of the day, you're the decision maker. It's like President Obama or whoever the president happens to be. If you have a wise president, I don't know if we have one right now, but if you have a smart leader, a smart king, a smart queen, or whatever, a smart king or queen never makes decisions on their own. but they never let other people make their decisions either, right? What they do is they have a council of advisors. They have experts that will give them perspective and information that they may not have, and then they internalize the information, process it, and then they make the final decision. So at the end of the day, and I reiterate this to every parent in here. If you're a parent, like, raise your hand. Let me know if you're a parent. Every parent in here, I reiterate to you that you are the decision maker. You are the final decision maker in the life, in the course of action for your children. And so my goal is, one, to help you, to hopefully convince you that economic intelligence is important for your child, that knowing how to save and invest and build wealth and own property and own a business, all these things, that these things matter for your child. And then two, where we step in again, as we say, look, don't feel that you can't do what that white lady can do down at the public school. You're more qualified than she is. Let's just be clear. You're more qualified than those administrators are. If you don't have the confidence, it's okay. We got you. We've got the expertise. We got some of the greatest experts on the planet that are in the Black Business School. And we have brought in all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds, everybody from Dr. Claude Anderson to people, Tariq Nasheed came in and gave a great lecture on how he built up his company, to people like attorney Tanya Nebo, who is a real estate expert and an expert on franchises and acquisitions of businesses, Julian Gordon, who graduated from Stanford, who is one of the best entrepreneurs or real estate experts I've ever seen. We're talking about high-level people. The guy I was talking to yesterday went to NYU. We have professors from top universities, just all kinds of people that can give you everything you need. And also things like the workbooks and the flashcards and stuff like that are low-cost, high-quality tools that you can have right there in your house, where you really can legitimately say, look, it's okay if my kid goes to school somewhere else, but they've got pretty much everything they need right here in this house. Because I can tell you, if you have a Black son or Black daughter, and you have your children read books like Claude Anderson books like Powernomics, Black Labor, White Wealth, and then you have them learn the 3 pillars of wealth, which is stock investing, entrepreneurship, and real estate, then your child is going to have everything they need in order to be economically successful. They're going to be ahead of 99% of the population. They will have more wealth by the age of 30 than most white people do. They will have a type of freedom that most Black people can't even understand. Now, other things that they will probably need to know are things like Black history, so they know who they are and they know their role in the community. They also would need to know just the basics on reading, writing, and math. So you give me a child. Here's what I'm going to give you, the educational blueprint for Black children. This is what I would do with my own child if I had a baby right now. This is what would make your child excellent. If my child is reading every day, so they're an excellent reader, so they can absorb information. They're writing every day, so they're an excellent communicator. They know how to have a feeling and an idea, and they're not frustrated because they know exactly how to communicate it in an eloquent way. Mathematics, they're doing math every day, so that when they do business, they're not going to get robbed because they know how to actually do the calculations. Half our kids coming out of school right now, out of these public schools, can't do reading, writing, math. They can't read at grade level. Most Black kids aren't reading at grade level. They can't write worth a damn. Y'all seen this, that the math is off. They work at McDonald's and have to look at pictures of the food in order to do if the cash register stop working, they don't know what to do, right? So reading, writing, math every day, Black history, so they know who they are, why they're great, and why they're important for the community. They know specifically what it means to be an asset to your community. And then business school. Send them to business school. That's where they learn the 3 pillars of wealth. Stock investing, which I can teach you in about 10 minutes. Black Money 100, blackmoney100.com. If you guys haven't checked that page out, go check it out, blackmoney100.com. Just sign up. There's a free training on how to buy your first share of stock. Stock investing, entrepreneurship, with blackmoney103.com is our entrepreneurship program. Attorney Nicole Compton has done dozens of hours of discussion with students on the specifics on how to start a business. So not knowing is not an excuse. There's so much there in terms of what she can explain as a lawyer. It's insane how strong a lawyer who knows business is for the community. It's amazing. And then the last piece, real estate. We have an excellent real estate program. Julian Gordon runs our real estate program. Julian's one of the best entrepreneurs I've ever seen. He graduated from Stanford, but he too will also testify that what he learned at Stanford did not even come close to the really valuable things he learned once he left Stanford and he started learning on his own, right? Like they have a saying that says that formal education will help you make a living, self-education will help you make a fortune. So what we're really trying to do is get Black people to embrace the idea of family empire building, like meaning, what can you do right now in your family so that in 50 years, your family will be in that multimillionaire status. It's not hard to do. It's very straightforward, very direct. That's where we have things like the 100-year plan for your family. We have lectures on how to build your own family bank, things like that. These are unconventional conversations because we're in an unconventional challenge. We're in a situation that is very unique. So we need unique solutions. We can't solve these difficult age-old problems using the same old approaches because these approaches are not working. The other thing we have in place is what we call Project 2070. Project 2070 is where I believe that as our platform grows, and I pay attention to our numbers, how many people we reach every week. We're reaching about 1 million people a week, something like that. I'm hoping I can increase that number with your help. I know I can. I know we can build a gigantic Black media outlet that goes throughout the world. But with that message, I believe that by the year 2070, especially if we can make Black wealth just really into the most important thing that our children learn, I believe that by 2070, which is about 51 years from now, Black people can actually be the world leaders in wealth building, entrepreneurship, ownership, real estate acquisition, all these things. I do believe that. Okay, so that's the goal, that's the thinking, and that's what I wanted to share with you guys. And so when I get comments like the comment I got from that lady, they don't really bother me. I think they're actually great opportunities for them to come and look under the hood. If you're not sure, if somebody's not sure, we want them to come look under the hood. We want them to come and give us a try. And then we also want them to find areas where we can do better and then let our customer support team know how we can do better, because we want to build a Harvard for Black people. Because the regular Harvard for white people is racist. They're very racist. Go look at what they're doing to their Black professors right now. Think about this. How is it that we live in a world where the best options that we think we have as Black people are options where we're being treated like dirt? Like, how pathetic of a situation do we have to be in where the best option that we think we have, like the best opportunities that we believe to exist, are opportunities where we're not even being respected as human beings? Harvard University, what they're doing to Professor Roland Fryer, what they did to those Black deans, where they put them under investigation for no reason or whatever. The fact that they will go decades and decades without giving tenure. A lot of departments went decades and centuries even without tenuring or hiring or promoting a Black person. Why would you even want to go give places like that all your money? Why? I mean, one of the most fundamental principles of economics I think we need to embrace as Black people is you don't give all your wealth away to people who hate you. And if you have to give all your money away to people who hate you and don't respect you, then you need to ask yourself, do you respect yourself? Think about this. Think about this. What if you knew a woman who was giving her love and her body away to a man who publicly stated that he thinks that she's a piece of dirt? That a man who publicly states that he has no respect for her. He could chop her body up and throw her in the trunk and he wouldn't even have a bad day. Right? Like, and you would look at that woman and say, what are you, you could probably do better. You're a pretty lady. There's better men out here. Like, you would probably think that she has a self-esteem problem. So when Black folks are lining up out the damn door to give all of our wealth away in student loan debt to institutions that treat us in a disrespectful manner, that's when I say we have to really check ourselves and say, what is wrong with us? It ain't what's wrong with them. Ain't nothing wrong with them except the fact that they're racist. Ain't nothing wrong with Harvard. They're smart. They're like, well, if you keep giving us your money, we're gonna take it, right? That's simple math, right? That's an easy thing to kind of conclude. Like, oh yeah, you give me your money, I'm gonna take it, right? So you can't get mad at them. What you really have to do is get mad at you. All right. So I don't know about you, but I personally get tired of giving my best to people who give me their worst. I'm tired of supporting people who can't show love to me. So, and I'm not just pointing out just Harvard University. You can go to almost any university out there and you see the same type of racism out there. Black college students having protests because they feel unwanted on campus. You see Black students going through all kinds of hell and talking about racist professors, or like I did. I went through 4 years of college, several years of grad school, and I never once had a Black professor. Not one single time did I ever have a professor who looked like me, because basically what they were telling me is that Black people are good enough to come on campus to dribble basketballs and throw footballs, and we might let a couple come in and give their money to us, but they're not good enough for us to commit to them and to hire them as faculty members on this campus. We don't respect you enough to want you here. That's the message I got from the University of Kentucky and Ohio State and the other institutions that I attended. So the Black Business School is basically our effort to fix that and to address that. And I hope that you will hear the sincerity in my voice when I say to you that this is something that I believe in deeply. This is something I'm committed to. This is also something that I believe can be part of the solution for long-term transformative possibilities that can exist in our community. Everything great starts off small, and we're not entirely small. We have about 75,000 students, but we could be much bigger, and we will grow faster the more you guys believe in us, and the more you guys will go to bat for us. So we're asking you to go to bat for us, and we will knock it out of the park for you. We will always go to bat for you. Okay, so I'm gonna, feel free to go join. If you're not ready to invest in anything, that's fine. You can actually get started for free at theblackbusinessschool.com. Feel free to go check that out. Also, the financial workbooks today, they're on sale, deeply discounted, 50% off. You can go to financialworkbooks.com. We have every grade level covered. So if you don't have a child, or you know a child down the street, or you have nieces and nephews, or whatever it is, like it's summertime is wasted time. That's the time where your kids can actually learn and get ahead. One of our other secret formulas is we believe that if Black children go to business school at the age of 7, instead of waiting till the age of 18, they're going to be at least a decade ahead of the competition. So our goal is not to achieve equality and inclusion and diversity and all these other things. Our goal is to win. That is our goal. Our goal is to win. Okay. So feel free to go to financialworkbooks.com. If you've already bought one of the workbooks and you want to still get the bundle pack, go ahead and get it. Just send a screenshot of your receipt to support@theblackbusinessschool.com. And what they can do to compensate you is either give you a free product, or they can let you into the Black Millionaires of Tomorrow program at 50% off. Okay. So we want to compensate you if you've already bought something, part of the package, and you don't want to get the whole bundle, whatever it is, it's totally up to you. But feel free to go check it out. So I hope that this helps you guys kind of understand what's going on. I felt the need after I saw that comment to kind of just lay it out here and let you guys know what the master plan is. I have a lot of confidence in this plan. And let me just tell you this, behind the scenes, we have made some monster moves behind the scenes in terms of connecting with people in America and around the world that we believe can really help us push things to an even higher level. And I'll tell you guys about it when we get there, but just understand this is just the beginning. It's going to be extraordinary when it's finally done. All right, so take care, guys. Hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. And also I see some of you asked about, oh, by the way, my masterclass on investing starts in 2 days. So if you're interested in taking a look, go to drboycemasterclass.com. That's drboycemasterclass.com. Use the code word Powernomics and you can get 50% off. It's a masterclass on investing. Again, it still has a 30-day money back guarantee. So there's no risk to you whatsoever. But if you and your family want to learn to invest, the masterclass is fun. People love it. If you've been in it, say something. And also when you get done, and I want your children to do this, when your children go through the Black Millionaires of Tomorrow program, make sure that your kids pick up their degree, the degree from the Black Business School. I want you to print it out, put it on your wall. That's very important for their validation of their self-esteem. When a child is 10 years old and they can say, I learned from the Black Business School, I am a graduate of the Black Business School, when they pass all the little exams and everything that we have set up in the program, that changes how they see themselves. The children start to see themselves as wealth builders, as entrepreneurs, etc., as future billionaires. And what that does is it sort of manifests itself over the next 20 or 30 years. So if you want to do yourself and your children a favor, pick up that degree, print it out, and it helps us a lot too, because again, we want to be the Harvard for Black people. So we'd love it if you guys, if you're happy with what we're doing, we'd love it if you were rep high and low, tell everybody about it, and just know that we have a better solution. This is the ultimate HBCU because we're not controlled and run by the government or anybody else. So anyway, I'm out of here, guys. Take care. Have a good day. Please hit the thumbs up button, and I'll see you guys soon. Be good.